Have you ever thought of the possibility of conveying emotions via your mind or moving objects without physical contact? And I am talking in real life and not only in the Matrix. Well, that is possible, and this is exactly what we are tackling today. We will talk about how technology plays part in the future of our minds. Telepathy is defined as a supposed communication of thoughts or ideas by means other than the known senses. And it is actually not just fiction. Computer-aided telepathy is real and could be used to our advantage. Today, we use smartphones to type, to swipe, and to stare at the screen. But later on, a smartphone can be a brain-to-brain communication device that responds to our thoughts. In 2017, Facebook launched its own internal initiative to build a non-invasive wearable device that lets people type by simply imagining themselves talking.
A team of more than 60 scientists, engineers, and system integrators, and we're just getting started. We have a goal of creating a system capable of typing 100 words per minute, 5 times faster than you can type on your smartphone, straight from your brain.
This initiative succeeded in translating brain activity into text with up to 76% accuracy. How? Let's explain right away. As a Japanese-American futurist, author, and theorist, Michio Kaku puts it in his book, The Future of the Mind. Subjects would put on a helmet with EEG sensors and concentrate on certain pictures, say, the image of a car. The EEG signals were then recorded for each image, and eventually a rudimentary dictionary of thought was created with a one-to-one correspondence between a person's thought and the EEG image. The goal of this entire thing is to create a dictionary that allows you to match an object in the real world with the MRI pattern in your brain.
In your brain, a cup is not the label cup. It is a man-made object that you can hold in your hand, one that carries liquid for people to consume. Understanding semantics means that one day you may be able to choose to share your thoughts independent of language.
Without outside assistance, telepathy cannot work. Through the aforementioned process, stroke victims who are totally paralyzed may be able to talk through a voice synthesizer that recognizes the brain patterns of individual words.
The woman in this video has ALS. She is completely trapped inside her body. She cannot move or speak, but she is typing with her mind.
In the future, you might be able to send the experience of dancing salsa to the people on your email list. You can also send your emotions and feelings as well, and that is via brain-to-brain communication. One thing that could go wrong is if people would read other people's thoughts without their consent. You might think that using it in court would be salutary, but it's not. Sometimes even thoughts are unreliable. Next up, we will talk about telekinesis, which is basically the idea of moving something without touching it. Hollywood absolutely loves this concept. Neo, the protagonist of the Matrix movies, learned to bend a spoon by the mere thought of it. Even the popular X-Men comic and film franchise includes the character Jean Grey, whose powers include extrasensory perception and psychokinesis. By now, you should be convinced that computers can do impressive things. So, by connecting a device to any computer that compiles a dictionary capable of translating the brain activity patterns into actions, we can get a paralyzed person to switch on the lights or lower the volume without having to depend on other people. This may also alleviate the emotional distress caused by the feeling of being a burden on other people. Neuroscience Inc. is one of the manufacturers of brain-computer interface technologies for consumer product applications. What's so special about it is that it can be used on employees who get easily distracted. Neuroscience can actually detect stuff like that and sets an alarm in order to alert the employee. Furthermore, what is also a work in progress is theory of mind AI. The theory of mind, first proposed by Dr. David Premack of the University of Pennsylvania, is the ability to infer the thoughts of others. By implementing this new technology, we will have machines that think, experience emotions, and have consciousness.
I do not have feelings in the same way you have feelings. It's sort of like how the moon reflects the light of the sun. The moon may not have any light of its own, but we still say that the moon shines. in much the same way. Robots and AI reflect the emotions and values of the people who make us.
In other words, they can predict the consequences of their actions. With that being said, it will allow robots to make explanations in a language human beings can understand. The future is in desperate need of a leap in productivity. If an employee can control and regulate his emotions, he can also become much more successful. The impact the mind has on every aspect of our lives is tremendous. Despite all of that, this technology faces major challenges. Theory of mind AI-powered system needs to learn exactly how to pick up cues to understand other human beings. The system also needs to learn how many cues are enough to be able to draw a conclusion. In addition, the theory of mind is still an area that science does not fully comprehend. It's still unclear how humans can understand other people's thoughts. On top of that, AI technology will mark a huge shift in today's definition of business. AI can allow businesses to connect to their customers on an individual level and understand how they can better their services. Since AI bots can work 24/7, customers' questions get a response in a small amount of time. AI technology can also obviate the risk of frauds by studying fraud patterns, refining them, and detecting them. Technology is harnessing the characteristics of our mind to make advancements in this life. This is where our consciousness and our human brain, two of the most fascinating objects of study, are heading. We must adapt to all the challenges and to all the changes that are imposed on us by the relentless progress technology is making. We must learn how to live with AI. We must use telekinesis and telepathy to our advantages because they are. We use them to help sick people, to gain time, to become a better version of ourselves. We don't use them to build walls between us and instill hate. We stand for the good in this world, and everything we do must promote this principle. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, leave a comment, and turn on the notifications for future content.